Nova.
Everybody give it up!
Smallzy's Celebrity
Small Talk Podcast.
Hey guys, this is Camila Cabello. I'm co-hosting Smallzy's Surgery with the one and only Smallzy on Nova.
Please give it up for Camila!
All right, on the show tonight, her new album is coming out tomorrow. Longtime friend of the show, and she's looking stunning and radiant as per usual, the one and only Camila Cabello. Hello.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you for spending launch week of the album with me. You could be anywhere, and I appreciate you choosing to be with me.
I love you, Smallzy.
What is on the cards for this week? What are you getting up to? I'm assuming you'll be doing a bunch of interviews. You're flying around the country. What are you doing?
I said no to every interview except yours.
Good answer. In all seriousness, though, you're in New York at the minute. Are you spending the rest of the week there? Are you going to be going somewhere else?
No, I'm spending the rest of the week here. I'm rehearsing for SNL on Saturday and the Today Show on Monday. I'm going to be on Jimmy Fallon. I got my TikTok concert. I'm getting a haircut.
There's a lot to go. There's a lot to have. It's a big album campaign.
Absolutely, I got my period.
She's got it all going. Did you time that specifically for this week? I'm not a girl. I don't know. You have to explain this to me. Is this an ideal timing or is this not ideal timing?
For some reason, my period always comes when I have a performance, like some kind of the most busy week. It's like I also have my period. It's the worst.
As a guy, I'll only say it must be the worst. I have no actual idea though. I wanted to pass on the good news. Bam Bam is doing amazingly well in Australia. Congratulations.
What? That's awesome. I love that for me.
Give me the bum story. I want to know how you and Ed teamed up. When did you team up? Was it a Zoom session? Was it face-to-face?
Face-to-face is how we do it, baby. And I sent him the kind of demo of the song, and then he made it a million times better. And it's like, Smallzy, have you ever been heartbroken? And then you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. How am I ever gonna recover? And then time passes, and then you're like, wait, that was actually great that happened. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Absolutely. I think everybody can relate. I think everybody can relate to that. How do you relate to experiences in your life that the world would be so intimately... Actually, I want to rephrase that. How do you process experiences that people in the world think they're intimately familiar with, but they may not know the real story, they may not know how you really feel, they may not know the actual truth, but they have their own version of whatever it is going on in your world?
Well, it's not even they may not know, it's they don't know. I think the most honest I will ever be about certain situations in my life will be through my music. Because to me that when I'm in the studio, I really make it for myself. And I also think my favorite writing is the most honest and the most detailed. My favorite songwriters, Taylor Swift has talked about this all the time. I think the details are what make it interesting and what make it human. So to me, that's the most honest I will be, not, in interviews or whatever, about certain things, But to me, I process things obviously in my own intimate circles with my friends, my family, my therapist. And that's how I process things and in the actual songs.
Yeah. Do you ever get a great lyric and go, oh, this would be fantastic, but you know what? I'm going to hold that back. I don't know if that's up for public consumption.
All the time.
Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate it. I appreciate the amount of time that you give on album week. I did want to quickly touch on the I'm sure you've spoken about the Instagram post that you put out earlier this week, but I just wanted to commend you on the courage to be so vulnerable and how brave it was. And if people don't know, you just basically listed on Instagram I think anyone who's ever had any body issues or self-consciousness. You just listed it out there, and I was reading it going, that's me. Like,
Really?
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, going to the beach is the most excruciating part, has been for me over my entire life. Hate the idea of it because you're so conscious about what everyone else is thinking. And I just wanted to commend you on putting it out there because I'm sure you have seen the response to it. But were you shocked with how many people that would have resonated with?
Definitely. I feel like I got like an overwhelming amount of support from people. And it's cool to hear you say this too, because obviously because I'm a woman, like I feel like I see these crazy body standards for women, but then like I realize for men too, like for everybody, it's I was
going to say, like, body standards for women, I think, is something that we all can socially agree have been so toxic for so long. But on the other hand, for men, it's something that is ever prevalent in society. We don't really talk about it. And in fact, in fact, we have developed language where we still shame guys for a dad bod if you were out of shape, right? Like, and somehow it's been misconstrued, I think, as language where we seem to be supportive. But actually what you're saying there is, oh, you're out of shape or overweight, but don't worry, we like you because you've got a dad bod. Not actually realizing as a guy, what I hear is, don't be fat. You don't want to have a dad bod. That's not desirable. That's just a mechanism to excuse someone who might be out of shape. So then for me, I'm stuck in the situation where I'm like, well, I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm not going to go out there and expose myself to that criticism. It's ironically, we are so, men and women are so closely aligned on those body shame issues than anyone has ever really spoken openly about.
No, yeah. And I think the difference too is, I mean, one of the differences is that I think like maybe men don't have the permission to be as vulnerable about it because there's a lot of shame around expressing vulnerabilities or anxieties and insecurities and like that, like toxic masculinity thing. But yeah, I got so much support from it. And for me, like, it's like, yeah, it's been so present in my life, like the past few years as my body changes, my metabolism changes, and it's just like a lot of pressure because it's like, to me, if I go to the beach like with my friends or family, like, I mean, I'm fortunate that I'm like, I didn't have self-consciousness about that, but it's like when I started going to the beach and there was like a million paparazzi there, and then I saw the pictures like the day after, and I don't even look at what people really say about me on purpose, but sometimes I just stumble upon it, and it takes me like therapy. I have to like book a therapy session and talk about it because I feel so insecure, and then I get myself to a good place, and then I would go to the beach 3 weeks later and same thing. Like, you know, it's just like it's exhausting. And I think that for everybody, and not just women, it's like we live in such a exhausting time because there's pictures everywhere. It's just always you can't just go to the beach and be present.
No, and you're always, I don't know about you, but you're always not good enough.
Yeah, I think it's also my intention in posting that too, is like, you are maybe seeing a picture of whatever, some person that looks amazing at the beach, some celebrity, and then you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, like, oh, I wish I could be like them, whatever. But what you don't know is that person that you thought looked amazing in those pictures literally sucked in so tight they couldn't breathe. They didn't have a fun time. They didn't eat the meal that they wanted.
They were hungry. They spent the whole day hungry. Yeah.
Exactly. And then it's like, why are we not talking about the fact that this is just impossible for everybody? It's just impossible.
The album is called Familia. Tell me about its name, obviously, your heritage, your family's connection to it. I think, is your dad on the record too?
My dad and my cousin.
Did you raffle positions off with your family? Did you get them to duel it out at Christmas about who got to be on the record, or did they all just put their hand up and you said whoever wants to be on can be on? You know,
it kind of just worked out that way. Like at first, like I flew my family out for I think it was the Don't Go Yet video. And I really wanted him to be on a song and I wanted my cousin to be on the song. And my dad is like he will let me put him through any kind of torture. Like, I'll be like, will you do this for me? And he's like, I'll do, like, he'll just do anything for me. And my mom will make him do anything for me. But he did end up having a lot of fun because it was like a mariachi song. He got to just like be in a studio. We were in the studio together. And then he went in the booth and was just like making shit up. And I was like, you're doing it. Like, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, right. How important is family to you? I mean, family in the blood sense, but then I guess also friends who are family as well.
That's the key, Smallzy. To me, the whole album is, I keep saying this, but it's like, I feel like our culture values independence so much. And this album is really about interdependence and really acknowledging that we are not ever doing it alone. You know, we depend on so many other people from the time we're babies to the time we're always depending on other people. We're always depending on other, you know, even in the natural world, like we depend on sunlight and oxygen and water. Like, we're never doing life alone, and really acknowledging that.
They're wrapping me up. They're like hard wrapping me. They're like screaming at me, just so you know, to wrap up in the comment section. Thank you for your time. Congrats on the record. Any chance Australia, before I go, but they'll hate me for asking another question, but is Australia on the cards? Will you be doing a tour? Will we see you down under anytime soon?
I do want to do a tour, and I do want to come to Australia.
All right, well then it's a yes. She's on her way, everybody. I've booked the venue. Thanks so much. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Smallzy. Take care.
You've been listening to Smallzy Celebrity Small Talk. Follow Smallzy on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Or listen live to Smallzy Surgery, weeknights from 7 on Nova.